Puerto Rico, la isla del encanto, translates to the island of enchantment. My relationship with nature is defined by the places I've lived in. Although I was born in the capital city of San Juan, most of my childhood memories come from the weekends I would spend on an island off the eastern coast called Vieques. Vieques is only 52 square miles long and has a population just above 9,000, so you can imagine how small it is. Since it is so small, a lot of people don't know about it, and for that I consider it a hidden gem. People often talk about escaping the city life and wanting to go to paradise to connect with nature, and Vieques was that place for me. However, it is more than a luxury vacation, it is my childhood home. As a local, I know for a fact that Vieques thrives on tourism, but from my perspective, I not only saw the most beautiful parts, I also came to appreciate the small town and buildings around. I found that there is beauty in the small community, where everyone knows who you are and your family. It is wonderful seeing familiar faces around the island. As a local, it makes it a lot easier getting around. I know where everything is and I don't have to question it. There is no need for Google Maps. Naturally, much of my childhood was made up of trips to the beach and spending hours in the sun and swimming in the ocean. The sun is always shining and it is always warm. I can still smell the thick sunscreen my mom would apply on my face. Spending all that time outdoors and at the beach made my connection to nature stronger. One of my favorite things to do was find starfish. I also enjoyed collecting seashells and going snorkeling. One of the perks of living on a small island is the fact that during off seasons, the beaches were pretty much private. We would enjoy it all to ourselves, and as a little girl, it made me feel like I could conquer the world. Little did I know that the summer I turned 13, my dad finally let me go snorkeling with him. I would have always admired his wetsuit. My experience snorkeling can be compared to a real-life version of Finding Nemo, minus the talking fish, of course. My eyes could not believe the fish, the coral, and the plants of all sizes, colors, and textures and shapes that I saw. There were many opportunities on the island for family bonding. I remember going fishing using non-traditional fishing rods at night. You could see stars in the sky, and my father would always put me in charge of bringing the lamp. We would use nylon strings and small fish hooks, and we would use calamari as bait. Living in Vieques also presented me with several challenges. It not only challenged me physically, as I would climb rocks, but it also forced me to keep an open mind and to try new things. I would become brave enough to explore hidden areas and to jump off high cliffs. Puerto Rico has some of the most beautiful sunsets, radiating colors of pink, orange, and red. I will always remember being mesmerized at the view from my house. I remember spending hours looking at the sky and the shoreline. I have learned an important lesson to take the time to appreciate the beauty that lies around us. Eventually, my parents decided to move to New York so my siblings and I could get a better education and learn English. As a second grader, I was placed in a new environment and I had to adapt to a different lifestyle. New York is fast-paced and everyone is always so busy and on the move. It is a crowded and big city with lots of people. It has a population of more than 8 million and is home to more than 800 languages. No wonder it is known as a melting pot because of its great diversity. As much as I love the city, luckily I don't live in Manhattan. I live in Brooklyn, across a park where it is more peaceful and it kind of feels like a suburb. It is surrounded by trees and houses and you'll see lots of squirrels and dogs. I love the city and I find all the movement inspiring, but I believe it's all about finding a balance. Hence why I love Brooklyn so much. The train ride is only 45 minutes to an hour to get to the city and I love crossing the Brooklyn Bridge. There are not as many beaches. The nearest one is in Coney Island. It only thrives in the summertime. The water is not nearly as clean or as clear. The most I dare is to dip my toes, but I enjoy walking across the boardwalk. In exchange for the lack of beaches, I spend a lot of time in parks. Autumn in New York is especially beautiful. I find it astonishing how the leaves change color pretty much overnight. One of my favorite parks is Central Park, where it is massive and it has views of the city skylines. Since my move, I have experienced all 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, and fall. I have learned the key to having layers and investing in good shoes. I have learned to appreciate nature in all its forms, whether it is tropical or cold, snow or sweat, rain or humidity. Living in Puerto Rico, New York, and now Boston has opened my eyes to all the beauty that nature provides. Traveling means to immerse yourself, adapt to other lifestyles, and to recognize that there is an entire world out there with lots of people, and I am very grateful that I've gotten the chance to live in 3 places. Since my childhood spent in Puerto Rico, I have always felt a strong connection to the water. It brings me peace, joy, and a sense of freedom. My next plans are to travel to London. I am most excited to see Big Ben and to experience the view of River Thames from the London Eye. Not to mention, I can't wait for Hyde Park and to tour Stonehenge. Thank you for listening to my story.